Four-year product of Purdue and the newest Golden State big man, became a legend for his college team, helping fuel the Jaden Ivey-led Boilermakers into the Sweet 16 this past March Madness. And that wasn't the first time Trevion Williams led Purdue deep into the tournament, as the versatile big man made it as far as the Elite Eight back in 2019. There's a stigma among NBA GMs behind drafting older players, but it's absolutely BS that a primary reason for Williams going undrafted was because he was 3 years older than most of the players in 2022's class. Williams ended his career as one of 3 Big Ten players in the last 30 years with at least 1,400 points, 900 rebounds, and 225 career assists, joining Draymond Green and Ethan Happ. If he doesn't make the 15-man roster after the preseason, Trevion's Exhibit 10 contract will keep him in Santa Cruz. So he adds yet another up-and-coming phenom to the Warriors' cast of solid young talent. At the top of that list of young talent is Jordan Poole. Problem is, the Warriors being deep into the luxury already will force the front office to pick and choose between paying Jordan or the team's backbone, Draymond Green. With the Orlando Magic interested in snagging Poole away from the Bay, here's the worrisome situation regarding JP's impending restricted free agency and whether or not the Warriors' newest big man complements the current core. Before continuing, according to YouTube's analytics, only 10% of you watching right now are subscribed, so press the box and turn on notifications if you haven't already. Also, leave a like on this video. It takes a few seconds and makes a massive difference. Now into the content. Even with all the videos I've made breaking down and giving credit to the recently having become 4-time NBA champs, there's still a lot we haven't gone fully in depth on regarding the Warriors. A player whose name hasn't even been mentioned in any of these uploads is Trevion Williams. Following his senior season in West Lafayette, Indiana at Purdue University, despite being one of the top talents in the competitive Big Ten Conference, Williams was passed on 60 times in the 2022 NBA Draft. Over 37 games with the Boilermakers in 2021-22, the multi-talented power forward averaged a decent 12 points and 7.4 rebounds, but most notably had one of the highest assist marks among big men in the country. In that senior campaign, Trevion doubled his previous college career high in assists, directly setting up a teammate 112 times, equating to a mark of 3 assists per game. Speaking of the versatility in his offensive bag, you start to question why not a single GM selected him in the draft when he's transitioning from the dribble to the post and backing down his matchup with a beastly drop step. Trevion's touch around the hoop and how he mixes up those drop steps with post hooks made him a primary weapon for Purdue, but don't get it twisted, Williams isn't completely old school. He's shown legitimate upside as a floor spacer as well. To be fair, the release point on his jump shot is a bit low, and the man only took 14 attempts from deep range all season in 2021-22. However, Trevion did make 5 of those shots, equating to a decent 36% mark. Plus, with the post fades and mid-range stroke he's shown off, you could see him developing into a pick-and-pop weapon with the likes of Stephen Curry. Whether Williams is in the minors or with the big club, the internal competition he'll provide for James Wiseman and Kevon Looney is going to be important. His stretch shooting and nifty passing makes Trevion the ideal fit in Steve Kerr's offense, which features a ton of split action and pin downs. Overall, though, Williams being an efficient deep-range shooter will likely be the determining factor to whether or not he cracks the 15-man unit. Also, while he showed flashes of being a rim protector who could move his feet laterally in the pick and roll back in college, we know how much faster the NBA is compared to that level of play, so we'll see how Trevion adjusts. Moving on to Stephen Curry, and whether it's casuals on Twitter failing to put him in the discussion next to Giannis Antetokounmpo as the best player in the world, rivals like CJ McCollum still calling Durant the most important player to the Warriors dynasty, the mainstream media still dismissing the chef as a generational talent, or fools like Mike James, whose one-dimensional opinion was covered in a separate video, the disrespect makes Curry carrying the Warriors to their 4th championship in 8 years that much sweeter for the greatest shooter of all time. But when you mix his shooting with the handle and shiftiness to create space, plus passing out of double teams, that gives him a gravitational pull on opposing defenses, allowing Steph to single-handedly put the Warriors on his back offensively. That's what he did and then some against the best defense in 2022's playoffs in the Boston Celtics, where Curry averaged 31.2 points per game on 48% shooting from the field over 6 outings, but more impressively, the chef made 44% of his 12 triples per night. That made it night-night for fans like this celebrating early like the 2011 Heat.
They are soft. The West is soft. I said Celtics in 5. That may have been rude of me. I may have been rude. This may be Celtics in 4. This may be a sweep. This team doesn't belong in the same court as us.
Curry's backup, Jordan Poole, would be a starter on just about every other NBA team. And despite having 3 years of playing experience under his belt in the pros, the dynamic combo guard and should have been most improved player is still just 23 years of age. With Steph-esque shooting range and a bag that's similar to the all-time great, Poole's an inch taller than Curry and has explosive athleticism that also makes him a different breed. Jordan's production tailed off in the NBA Finals, though, as he averaged just 13.2 points over 6 games, but in each of the previous 3 rounds against Denver, Memphis, and Dallas, Jordan posted at least 16.4 points per night. But even against Boston, Poole was an efficient bench piece who adequately replaced the services provided by the chef when stepping in off the pine. The in-and-out moves, side-to-side momentum crosses, and balance operating beyond the perimeter all resembles Curry. Even with how much Steve Kerr preaches for Poole to be himself, you can't help but compare the two. It all seems positive with Jordan, but there were actually reports today that an Eastern Conference executive said, quote, "I'd watch out for the Magic to be ready to make an offer if he's restricted, knowing there's a good chance Golden State is not going to match," end quote. With other teams willing to offer up everything, while Draymond Green's impact is massive, which goes without saying, Poole has the potential to be the next face of the franchise. That's who the Dubs should prioritize in my humble opinion. Who knows, maybe Bob Myers can find a way to keep everyone happy though. Who's getting the bag from the Dubs front office in your opinion, Draymond or Jordan? Best answer down below in the comments section gets next video shoutout, and the top 5 commenters with the most shoutouts by September 21st earn free merchandise of their choosing. Last upload I asked, who has the most potential of any young player on the Dubs? Today's Speaks winner is Hamish H, who says this is a difficult question to answer as the Golden State Warriors have a lot of young talent on their roster. However, if we had to choose one player with the most potential, it would be guard Jordan Poole. Poole was the 28th overall pick in the 2019 NBA Draft and has shown flashes of brilliance during his short time in the league. His gameplay is much the same as his veteran teammate Stephen Curry's, which demonstrates his possible potential as a player. He possesses a fantastic outside jump shot and can create his shot off the dribble. Poole has a lot of room to grow as a player, and if he can develop his all-around game, he has the potential to not only be a star in the league, but even one of the all-time greats. You tell the story and Community Speaks, so leave your take.